Salvete, we back. Capítulo nonum, chapter 9, Pastor et Oves, the pastor and the sheep. Hic ver, qui in campo ambulat, pastor Julii es. Here's a man who walks in the field, campus, field, who is the pastor or the shepherd of Julius. So you already got a bunch of new words. We in a new declension. We in the third declension for the first time. And as you can see, the endings is different in some of them. We got soil, sun, kailun, the sky, mons, mountain, arbor, tree, colis, hoe, pastor, shepherd, oves, sheep, canis, dog, herba, grass, rius, stream, silva, the forest. A whole lot of new words in this chapter. Pastor non solus es in campo, nam canis niger cum eos et centum oves, una ovis nigra et un decentum oves albi. Pastor, shepherd. And remember, we're going to conjugate, since we already not going through the reviews. So now you know what accusativos and nominativos and all that is. So we can point those out as we go forward. Obviously, the shepherd is not alone in the field. Ablativo for campus in campo. For the black dog is with him. And 100 sheep. 1 black sheep and 99 white sheep. Tertia declinatio. That's how you decline the third declension room. And you got words like always, for example, which means sheep. And that's how you decline nominativos, always, accusativos, ovem, genitivos, always, after sheep. That's something done to the sheep as the object, right? Dativos, to the sheep. I give something to the sheep, or we, and with the sheep, or we. Ablativos. We got the plural, nominativos, oves, that just means the sheep, plural. Accusativos, oves, same thing. Ovium, dativos, and genitivos, so genitivos. Of the sheep, plural. Sheeps don't exist in English. You just sheep. Dativos, to the sheep, plural. And ablativo, with more than one sheep, plural. Oribus. That's how you decline the third. All words in the third decline similar. Pastor unam ovem nigram et mutas oves albas habet. The shepherd has, remember, the verb at the end in Latin, has 1 black sheep that's accusativum ovum. Remember, accusativus singularis, accusativus singularis, because he have it. Habit, change it. Excuse me. Et multas oves albas habet, and many white sheep. And that's also accusative but plural. Always. Is es Dominus ovis nigrae et ovium albararum. We got he is the master of the black sheep and of the white sheep. So we got genitivus singularis, genitivus pluralis, ovis and ovium, genitivus singular and plural. Pastor ovi nigrae et ovibus albis aquam et cibum dat. The pastor give two, which is we dealing with dativus, right? Give to the black sheep and to the white sheep water and food. Aquam et cibum. Cum una ove nigra et un decentum ovibus albis pastor in campo es. The pastor is in the field with, so we deal with ablativus, one black sheep, and with 100 white sheep. And you see my nominativus, pastor, and at the beginning this time, but that still is stop me from knowing that would start off the sentence in our English time. The pastor is in the field with, there you start out here, cum una ove nigra et un decentum ovibus albis. And we know pastor is the nominative because there ain't no change, you see. The nominative is the one, if anything, you need to know the nominativs of every word because that's the original form. Always. That just means a sheep or the sheep. Quibus ovium es herba, quae in campo es. The food of the sheep, genitivus. The food of sheep is of the sheep is grass, which is in the field. And campo is ablativus also. In the fields. And rivo ablativus is aqua, and the stream is water. Oves in campo herbam edunt, et aquam bibunt e rivo, qui inter campum e silvames. The sheep eats the grass in the field. Edunt, plural, eats. I drink the water from a rivo, the stream, a rivo, which is between the camp or the ground, the field, campus, and the forest. Silva. Canis herbam non est, neque pastor herbam est. The dog doesn't eat grass, and neither does the pastor eat grass. And it's another verb for eat, which is kind of confusing because that's the way we've been using for the word us, but this is the long E in front of it, which means eat. Est. Canis herbam non est. In cibus pastoris est panis, qui ines in sacco. The food of the pastor, the food of shepherds, is bread, which is inside her sack, which is inside the sack. And this how pastor decline. So that's of the pastor, the food of the shepherd is bread, and which is in her sack. And that's how pastor decline. Pastor, the pastor, a pastor. Habet pastorem, have a pastor, a shepherd. Pastoris, of the shepherd. Pastori, to the shepherd. Pastore, with the shepherd. And all is the plural, same things. And that's right, they're telling you these are the two important ones to know. Everything else would be like automatic, you will know based off context clues in the sentence. Julius pastoris panem dat. Julius give to his pastor bread. Pastor canis suo cibum dat. The pastor give to his dog food. Or the shepherd give to his dog food. And shepherd, we use the word pastor in church, right? And that's what they're saying is they're shepherd lead the sheep. That's what they're saying technically. You call him a shepherd. And the flock is a sheep, which is the people of this congregation. Technically, metaphysically, that's why language is important. Canis a pastore cibum accipit. The dog receives food from the shepherd. Remember, and ab, from. Itaque canis pastorem amat. And so the dog loves the shepherd. Let me see which one is that. Yeah, accusativo. In Italia sunt multi pastores. In Italy, there are many shepherds. Qui via appia Roma prudicium it, multos pastores vide in campis. Which he who goes to Via Appia, goes by way of Via Appia, the Appia Road, Roma, from Rome to Brundisium, sees with it many shepherds in fields. Just reading that straight out, I I already know what I've been saying, but they really put a lot of trickery in this one. You have to pause this. Everyone that I go to, always try to pause them and get them before me. If you can't get them, then you gotta go back to the last video and make sure you get that. But this way is ab Roma ad Brundisium via Appia, by way of the Via Appia, without putting those in there. But again, the ending's telling me what it all is. Numerus pastorum magnus est. There's a great number of shepherds. There is a great number of shepherds. Yeah. Et in Acaria ego. I and also in Arcadia. Domini pastoribus suis cibundat. The master gives food. Masters, plural, domini, plural nominativus, gives food, kebum, to their shepherds, pastoribus. Canes pastoribus kebum accipiunt. Dogs receive food from shepherds. All plural, same things but plural from the last time. Post capum montes sunt. Behind the field are mountains. And mons is nominativus, montis genitivus, of the mountains. And that's how dictionary's gonna have it in there. You're gonna have the nominative and the genitive versions of each word. Hold on. Inter montes sunt valles. Between mountains are valleys. And it's showing you both of those decline the same. In campo es colis. On the field is hoe. Also decline the same. Colis is mons paribus. A hoe is a small mountain. In cole harbor is on the field is a tree. That's the ablativum of colis, on the hoe. In silva multae arbores sunt. In the forest are many trees. Oves non in silva neque in monte se in campo sunt. Sheep is not in the forest or neither in the mountains, but on the fields. And all that's applicable. In silva is lupus. In the forest is a wolf. Pastor et oves lupum timent, nam lupus oves est. The shepherd and the sheep fear wolves, a wolf. I feared the wolf. For a wolf eats sheep. En silvis et in montibus lupi sunt, in valibus nulli sunt lupi. In forests and in the mountains are wolves. In the valleys there are no wolves. Sol in caelo es supra campum. The sun is in the sky above the field. En caelo nulla nubes videtur. In the sky no clouds are seen. Videtur. Caelum es supra terra. The sky is above the land or ground. And we know terra sits in the first declension because remember feminine terra, terrae. So we see that's why it's important to know the genitive too, so you'll know if which house he sit in and know how to decline it. And caelum sits in the second versus neuter. The genitive going to tell you which one really. Montes et valles campi silvaeque sunt in terra. The mountains and the valleys are on the land. The mountain and valleys, fields, and forests are on the land. In caelo sol et nubes sunt, se supra hunc campum caelum sine nubibus est. In the sky are the sun and the moon, but above this field, the sky is without clouds. Sine nubibus. Alright, we back. Itaque sol lucet in campo. Also, the sun shines on the field. Lucet, new word. You had a good bit of new words so far, but I already translated it, so let's continue. Pastor in sole ambulat. The shepherd walks in the sun. Sub arbore autem umbra is. Under the tree also is a shade. Umbra, another new word. However, is a shade. Pastor qui nullam nubem videt in caelo, cum cane et ovibus ad arborem adit. The shepherd who sees videt. See, now your verb moving around, but always know that's. You can wait till you get to it, but as a beginner, I always tell somebody showing us to pay attention to the verb videt, sees. who sees what? Nulam nubem, no clouds, in Kylo, in the sky. So the shepherd who sees no clouds in the sky. And then to make sense of it again, go right to your verb and even gotta worry about the rest. Audit goes to ad arborem, the tree, cum cane, with the dog, et abibus, and the sheep. It's easy. But again, you can add your he, she, or it to your verb, and now make it. You wouldn't have to unscramble it and say the shepherd who no clouds he sees in the sky, with the dog and the sheep, to the tree he goes. So you have to add the he, the she inside the verbs if you want to say it straight on out like that. But when you're hearing it, try to listen to it with the anticipation on your verb coming later. Don't wait for the verb. Listen to the words. I'm going to give you the subject, pastor, and I'm going to give you the objects, nubem, and then I'm going to give you the verb, we did. So we got the pastor, we got the cloud. What about the pastor, the cloud? He sees. You see? Pastor Ubram Pedit. The pastor heads for the shade. Pedit is a figurative type of word. It got like many meanings. In this case, context clues tell us he goes to the shade. Etiam oves umbram petunt, post pastorem ad arborem adeunt. Also, the sheep goes into the shade. Behind the pastor, they go to the tree. Pastor always suas ad arborem ducit. The pastor and you see ducit is a verb we learned in the first chapter, leads his sheep always suas to the tree ad arborem. And again, it's like when you're listening and not looking at the screen, what's something you should do later after you not go through the lessons and you not figured out how to translate yourself. Still go through and listen to me just say the whole thing out, like Pastor always suas at opera duki. That should sound like that should be as I said. The picture of what's going on should be in your mind. The shepherd, you already heard me say that. Pastor always suas his sheep. So you got two things already in your head, the pastor and his sheep. While I saying this is all calculated in your head instantly. I don't even think about it no more. It just sound like somebody speaking a language that I understand. Two, we got the pastor and his sheep. Now we got to the tree. So we got most of the sentence already, but the sentence still ain't complete. We got the pastor, his sheep, to the tree, and most likely we know a word leads or goes or takes. Or one of those words automatically gonna fit in that. But the anticipation at the end, dookie, once we hear that, we already know the rest of the sentence. But if you're sitting there waiting for that verb to come, you're gonna miss the beginning of the sentence. So try to listen in Latin. Pastor always suas ad aberem ducit. He leads. You see how I put the he in it at the end because that make the sense out of it. The pastor, his sheep to the tree he leads. Eke pastor en umbra arboris jacet cum cane et ovibus. Look at the pastor, the shepherd, laying jacet in the shade of the tree with the dog and the sheep. And sheep plural. Arbor pastori et cani et ovibus umbram dat sed ovis nigra cum paucis aliis in sole jacet. You got arbor, the tree, right? And then your verb is what? And if you got a long sentence like this, look at your commas and colons and get the verb from there first. Start with this part first. The tree, and we got give, so the tree giving something. And right there you already see shade. So the tree gives shades to the pastor and to the dog and to the sheep. All that is dativus. But said always nigra, the black sheep, and get your verb again, jacet, lays in sole, in the sun, cum, with, paucis, a little, aliis, others, which is the sheep. If they don't gotta say sheep again, we already know he lay in the sun with a little bit of the other sheep. Pastor qui fessus es oculos claudit et dormit. The shepherd who was tired closes his eyes and sleep. Canis non dormit. The dog don't sleep. Dum pastor in herba dormit. Ovis nigra ab ovibus albis habit, et ad rimum currit. While, doom, that's a new word. That always doom, don't change. Another one of these words that always gonna be the same inside Latin sentences. That's one of those terms that means while. So the while the shepherd accused, nominativo, pastor, sleeps in herba, on the grass, always nigra, the black sheep, habit, goes away. Remember, eat means go, ab, away, goes away, from, ab, ovibus, albis, from the white sheep, ab ovibus albis, from the white sheep, et and currit, runs, ad rivum, to the stream. Dum pastor in herba dormit, it's like while the pastor in the grass sleeps. Always nigra ab ovibus albis habit, the black sheep from the white sheep he goes. It's arrivo currit, and to the river he runs. You see, while I read them straight out, you can translate it. Always nigra, always albas relinquit, et rivum petit, aqua bibit e rivo et in silvam intrat. Oves nigra, oves albas relinquit. That's a new verb, and we should know what that is by the word. Looking at it, if you speak English, you know got words like relinquish, which means like go away or let go. So the black sheep go away from the white sheep and heads towards petit, the scream. Aquam bibi, drink water. Bibi is another word, verb, new verb, drink. Aqua, drinks water. E rio, from, out of, out of the stream. And interact, enter the forest. Enter in the forest. Canis laterat. Wow, wow. The dog barks. Another new vowel. Bark. Laterat. Laterat. Mean bark. Pastor oculus aperit. Oves aspicit. Ovem nigram non videt. The pastor opened his eyes, looks for the sheep, or expects or look at the sheep, does not seize the black sheep. And again, it's another example how you got put he and it when you just say it straight out. The black sheep, he does not seize. Pastor oves numerat. The pastor count the sheep. Una, due, tres, quator, quinque, undecentum, 99. The pastor count the sheep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 99. In numerus ovium es undecentum, non centum. The number of sheep is 99 and not 100. Nullae oves albae absut, sed abes ovis nigra. None of the white sheep is absent, but the black sheep is absent. Pastor et canis oves albas relinquunt, et silvam petunt. The shepherd and the dog leaves from, relinquunt, plural, the white sheep, and goes into the forest. Pastor sacum cum pane in cole relinquit. The pastor leaves the sack with the bread on the hoe. Dum ceterae oves a pastore numerantur, ovis nigra in magna silva ubi via nulla es errat. Dum again, wow, the other sheep is counted by the pastor. So remember, we could be from or by what by the shepherd. The black sheep, errat, new word, wanders in the big forest where there are no roads. Via nulla es. Ovis quae iam procul a pastore ceterisque ovibus abes, neque caelum neque solem supra se videt. The sheep who is now far from the pastor and the other sheep who was far away, who was absent, and now is far away from the shepherd and the other sheep, and neither sees the sky and neither the sun above herself. And I know it's herself because I know Kwai show me it's feminine, that we talking about the sheep is a feminine word. Excuse me. Let me break this down because it's a lot. Always the sheep. Kwai, who is absent. Abes is away. Now far procul from a shepherd, pastore, and que ceteris other, the other, ovibus, sheep. Neither sees the sky, kailum, and neither the sun above herself. Sub oribus sol non lucet. Under the trees, the sun don't shine. Always nigra in umbra es. The black sheep is in the shade. Inter arbores sunt vestigia lupi. On the land, between the trees, there are wolf prints. Vestigia, new word, prints, tracks, stuff like that. Ubes lupus ipse. Ubs lupus ipse. Another new word itself. It's like se, but it's in another form. Where is the wolf himself? Non procul abes, not far away. Always vestigia lupi in terra videt, neque lupum videt. The sheep sees the track of the wolf on the ground, the land, neither and don't sees the wolf. So we know lupus as first declension masculine and declines like it. Accusativum, genitivum. Itaque always lupum non timen. Also, the sheep doesn't fear the wolf. Parva ovis sine timore inter arbores erat. And they got another version of verbs. That's the verb that can be used as a noun. It's like an idea, right? If I fear something, that's an action. I actually fear. Like this one is the action version of fear. Fear or don't fear. That's the action. That's the idea. That's the noun. Right? It's an idea, fearing something, like an emotion. So the little sheep without fear enters without fear between the trees, wanders between the trees. Lupus autem prope ovemes. The wolf, however, is near the sheep. Pastor et canis procul ab ea sunt. The shepherd and the dog are far away from her. And that's another thing to show us. We're talking about her. Ea. Say that Eo. Lupus qui cibum non habet per silvam erat. Hold on. Damn it. Alright, back. The wolf who don't have food wanders through the forest. Lupus in silva cibum quadrit dum pastor et canis ovem nigram quadrunt. The wolf, and it's like look for, like you gotta say look for is quadrit, like inquire, right? Looking for something. Looks for food in the forest, while the shepherd and the dog look for the black sheep, ovem nigram. Ubi es ovis nigra? Where is the black sheep? Age quaerere ovem canis et reperi ea. Go look for the sheep, dog, and return her. Reperi, like reparation, right? Return back to something that was lost, something that you own that was lost. Repair. Canis ovem quaerit et vestigia eius in terra reperit, neque ovem ipsam reperit. The dog looks for the sheep and finds his tracks on the ground, and don't find the sheep herself. Ipsam, herself. Cantis latrat, dog bark. Ecce vestigia ovis. Ubi es ovis ipsa? Duc me ad eam canis. So the shepherd said, look at the sheep tracks. Where is the sheep herself? Lead me to her, dog. Canis dominum sum per silvam ducit ad ovem, sed ovis proculabis. The dog leads his master through the forest to the sheep, but the sheep is far away. Lupus ululat, the wolf howls. Ooh. Et ovis et canis lupum audiunt, and the sheep and the dog hears the wolf. Canis currit, the dog runs. Ovis consistit et expectat dum lupus venit. The sheep stops and waits while the wolf comes. Ovis ballat, baa, the sheep bleats. Ecce lupus qui ante ovemes. Look, the wolf who is in front of the sheep. Iam ovis lupum ipsum ante se videt. Now the sheep sees the wolf himself in front of herself. Ante se. Oculi lupi in umbra lucit, ut Gemai et dentes ut margaritae. The eyes of the wolf shines in the shades. Like ut, that's a new word, like gems. And teeth like, you don't gotta say shine again because we already say shine, and so we know we're still talking about shines like pearls. Parvoes oculos claudit et dentes lupi expectat. The little sheep closes his eyes and expects the teeth of the wolf. And I read this book years, right? So we going through the same time together again. We all learn together over again. And I just realized that the pictures even got the closed eyes on it. I realized that last time, but now I realized that paying attention to the story and the picture and keeping that in mind is very important. And also going through this again, this time after doing a lot of different studying of Latin, it's much easier to go on. I can really see more this time around. Lupus colum ovis petit dentibus. The wolf attacks. Petit, you can use as attack, goes after the neck of the sheep, the sheep's neck with his teeth. And again, with dentibus, tell me cum dentibus without cum. I know in dentes, I know dentibus means with. In other terms that take the ablative but context clues. Sed ecce canis accurit. But look, the dogs is running to him. Accurit. Ac is like up to. Runs up to. Lupus se ab ove retit ad canem, qui ante lupum consistit et dentes ostendit. The wolf turns himself from the sheep to the dog, who in front of the wolf stops in front of the wolf and shows his teeth. Lupus ululat. The wolf howl. Canis latrat. The dog barks. Always balat. And all these verbs, right? These verbs that dogs and animals do. Bow, bark, howl, bleat. But it's those actions. And they're all set in the same verb store out of the four like we talk about in the review video with AT, yep. Pastor quiam prope est clamat. The shepherd, who now is close, cries out, Pete lupum, attack the wolf. Again, petite, pete, go after. In this case, attack, go after. Canis clamorem pastoris audit et sine timore lupum perit. The dog hears the shout of the pastor, of the shepherd, and without fear attacks the wolf, goes after the wolf. Lupus autem oem relinquit et montes perit. The wolf, however, leaves away from the sheep, or releases the sheep, and heads for the mountain. Pastor kokwe akurit et owem suam quae in terra jacet aspicit. The shepherd who runs up to and inspects aspicit her sheep, owem suam, who lays on the ground. In coloius sunt vestigia dentium lupi, in the neck of her are tracks of wolf teeth. Ovis oculos aperit et ad pastorem suum balat. The sheep opens her eyes and bleats towards her pastor or shepherd. Pastor laetus oem in humerus imponit, iamque portat ad ceteras Oves, quae sine pastore in campo errant. The happy shepherd lifts up the sheep on his shoulders, in humerus, and carries her, eamque portat, and carries her towards the other sheep, who is wandering on the field without the shepherd. Procul in monte lupus ulalat. Far in the mountain, the wolf howls. It's the end of the chapter. We'll see you in the next one. Walete. Oh yeah, before we go, as you can see, I still even learning again more faster on as the chapters go, because I still learning with y'all. And again, if this right here too hard for you, that means you must be skipped some chapters, because if you starting in this chapter, you ain't gonna understand what's going on. So I'll start at the beginning, I put it in the playlist, and I put the book in the description. When you get to this point, then everything be clear. So walete, till next time.